What's the cost? What's the value of life? If I would, not a law enforcement officer, I suspect you can ask these gentlemen with their vast experience in a shooter situation with an untrained shooter who has a gun, how many of them shoot a single bullet? Or do they pull the trigger until the clip's empty? If you've got an semi-automatic pistol that holds 15 rounds, and let's suppose you're an exceptional shot and the person's not moving and they're not very far away, and you put a few into them, well, sorry for the scenario, but if you're lucky, they're using ammunition designed to kill people and it won't go through them. Or worst case scenario, they just flat out miss and put 15 bullets into the room behind them. Right. No one could survive, no well-intentioned person, no non-mentally ill person who thought they were doing the right thing could financially survive, then probably wouldn't personally survive either. The aftermath of accidentally shooting and killing a handful of other people while trying to shoot the bad guy. Nobody could. You pull out a weapon, you pull out the liability and the ownership of all those lives and all their families and all their earnings and all their everything. There is no way to determine that cost. It would be so monumental that you can't, I don't know a way to do that. If I could mention one thing before you jump in there, sir, just on the cost. I started thinking about this cost issue after Mike asked the last question, and looking at the limitations that are also included in the statute. And I hope you all understand, we've already lost the first round of this battle. Every public institution had a policy that said no guns on campus anywhere. A student, well-backed student, sued one of our public universities. The result of that lawsuit was that all of us had to change our policies so that weapons are allowed to be kept in a vehicle in the parking lot. From my perspective, at least my faculty and I have a head start. If there's a student that's upset and they say, I'm so angry at you, I don't know what I'll do, sit right here, I'll be back in a minute, we're out of there. At least you got a head start with that. When you look at the other exemptions that are built into that statute, one of them is that people may not carry a weapon into a meeting of the legislature. At that same time that occurred, the interpretation was made that you can carry a concealed weapon inside the Capitol. You cannot carry it into the legislative chamber. You cannot carry it into a meeting room. In order to get into the hallways, outside the chambers, outside the meeting rooms, you have to go through a door with a metal detector on it. If you will let me have metal detectors all the way around the edge of my campus so that I know who has a gun and I can have somebody follow them like you can do in the Capitol, maybe it's not a safety issue. But the reason that people aren't allowed to have those in meetings of the legislature is that if you've never been to one of those committee meetings, people get hot. They get angry. They get screaming mad on both sides of the equation, both the legislators and the others. So just want to let you, we've already lost round one. We can't lose round two.
Chief Shire, I got 30 seconds.
30 seconds. We talk about loss, and truly the loss of a life or the improper loss of life would be highly expensive. Let's talk about loss of life. How many fire alarms do you think are in this building? How many fire alarms do you think are in most institutions? How many desks are made from material that's fire resistant? How many walls, roofs go into an institution of higher learning, or any school? Think of school fires. When's the last time you've seen a school fire on the news? That money's going to be required to be spent to make buildings bullet resistant. You know, there's just the cost. There's no stopping it. This is to stop it. You guys can stop it.
Great point. How about another big hand for the panel?